From the shadowy depths of the city, where justice and mystery intertwine, emerges a broadcast as daring and vigilant as the masked Avenger himself. You are tuned in to the Green Hornet Case Files, unveiling the legacy and cultural significance of one of the greatest crime fighters of all time. Now, let the adventure begin. Here are your hosts, Kory and Greg.
I gotta be honest, it's been too long since we've heard that.
It has been a while. Get ready for episode 11.
Yeah. Was it the 11st?
The 11st. Yeah. You know, we didn't even make a big deal about last time being the 10
right.
podcast. But we are going to make a little bit more noise this time. We have some super cool things to talk about on the case files.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. I think that's it. Let's go. Okay, bye. I can't remember what we're going to talk about.
You were worried about us running out of ideas. And
I was.
And you just decided we had.
I think I've hit the end of, it's over and out. Thank you very much.
No.
Not
letting you do it.
Okay, all right. One of the things that I have been really, I guess I have to say a big thanks to the folks at YouTube.
Yeah.
Because YouTube is filling a gap for a lot of Hornet fans. And that is in the fact that you can find the shows on there. It's the only place you can find the shows. And the news that I had most recently was it's still going to be a while, if it ever happens,
right,
that the shows will be on DVD.
I watched episode 10 of The Praying Mantis today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's what I was doing before I came.
My favorite episode with Mako.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
And it's all about Bruce and Mako.
It was a good episode.
Yeah, it really is.
After I was doing, I was refreshing for the episode for our topic today.
Yeah.
And as soon as it ended, that's what loaded up. And I was like, well, here we go. I'll watch this one now.
Let's go for that one. But there's so many other little tidbitty things out there that you got to keep digging as you type in Green Hornet in the search engine, and it brings up episodes, which that's great. It's radio, TV. You can be a little more specific with it if you want to. But all of a sudden you get into some kind of weeds when it comes to it. And I don't know if you've heard this or not, but a friend of mine sent me a quick little, it's a YouTube video. You don't have to see the video, okay? But these are the fun things that people are doing and have been doing for quite a while. Here we go. Go ahead.
Is this the thing that I sent you, and then you were like, somebody else sent that to me, or I saw this like a week ago or something like that?
Might have.
Okay.
Might have. All right, here we go. If it'll play.
The Green Hornet theme, the Lost Lyrics.
He's the Green Hornet, alias publisher Britt Reed. He fights crime with cool gadgets. Watch out for his hornet sting. His butler's named Kato. He's also his chauffeur. He drives the Black Beauty. Watch him make that motor sing.
FX is not responsible for the opinions of the Lost Lyrics. Form your own opinion. Watch the Green Hornet Saturdays at 5:30, 4:30 Central.
So it's funny. Now, this wasn't what I was thinking of.
Okay.
But you did send this to me, and I remember this.
Oh, really?
It was a promo from the TV station FX back in the mid-'90s.
Where most people have stolen the shows from when it showed on FX.
Yeah, and that's got to be one of the places I watched it.
Yeah.
Because I watched FX a lot as a kid. A lot.
Yeah.
And that was such a crazy flashback. When you sent that to me, I was like, oh my God, I remember that promo. FX used to have this late night or weekend late night music show. And it was it's where I first was introduced to Orlando Jones, the actor.
Yeah.
He was one of the hosts on that show. And I remember seeing some Bush video or something, and up crops that trailer.
He's a Green Hornet.
How much has that been stuck in your head?
It's way too much. way too much. You got to keep digging.
Right.
Because there's all sorts of little bits and pieces, and which is eventually going to lead us to our topic.
Right. So what did you get to the brass band?
Yes.
Okay.
With the tuba?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't bring that one along, but if you check out the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Check out the Facebook page, and I have a link on there. There's a brass band with tuba doing the.
And it's really pretty good.
It's really pretty good.
It's really pretty good.
And it's funny because after I posted that, I had about 4 other people then turn around and resend it back to me.
That always happens to
You
me.
know.
I was one of them.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think you were.
Look at this.
Yeah, well, I just sent that to you. What are you doing? So there is, and I don't know anything about this guy. I need to reach out. A guy named Mike Kelly. Does the name ring bells to you? Animator, cartoonist?
No. Sounds like a Boston cop to me.
Yeah, well, could be. Fine old Mike Kelly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's looking for the Green Hornet too.
See, he sounds like a character.
He does, doesn't he?
That name sounds like a character that would show up.
Seamus Michael Kelly.
Yes, perfect.
That's right. There is Mike Kelly did a 37-second animated Green Hornet. It's like it's a trailer for something that never happened. It is absolutely fantastic. I know how much you love animation and that kind of thing. We'll bring it up and show it at some point in
Yes,
time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It actually makes me think of that was one of the things Kevin Smith was involved in for a long time, was getting a Green Hornet animated series off the ground, which would have been amazing.
And
it's not dead in the water from what I understand.
I don't know. Again, I ran into Kevin, didn't get a chance to talk to him at San Diego Comic-Con, but
You did send me a picture of him right over.
I did send
You're like,
that
hey,
picture.
look at
Oh,
this.
it's Kevin. And I almost, since we had Phil on the show last week, and I don't think I mentioned this, maybe I did last week, I almost, because they're friends, they're good friends, I almost, because I couldn't get his attention, went, hey, look, it's Phil Hester. And he'd have probably looked at me and went, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, at some point, we do want to try and get Kev on the show. And here, I sound like I've known him for all my life. Let's get Kev on the show, shall we?
Well.
And we can talk Green Hornet, all right? Yeah. 2020 was when Kevin and a company called Wild Brain were supposed to be joining forces. Wild Brain did things like The Snoopy Show, Strawberry Shortcake, Teletubbies, Inspector Gadget. I mean, it was a big Canadian company.
Yeah.
That he was trying to work with to do this animated thing. And maybe if we can get a great movie and we could move this in a positive direction, that Kev would get a green light again to do that. Wouldn't
That would be pretty
awesome,
man. But you were talking about this trailer.
The animated trailer?
Yeah.
It's all it is.
Okay.
It's just an animated trailer for something that looks like I would absolutely 100% sit and watch.
Heck yeah.
But that's all it is. It's a 37-second trailer that this guy has done. I don't know how, where, why, when.
So, we're tangential, but relevant. One of the major streaming services, which I will not name specifically, just recently put out a Batman series, animated series.
Yes.
That is Bruce Timm, but it has that noir vibe to it that the original Batman, the animated series, and all I could think of through the whole thing is that would work. A Hornet animated series would work so well because it just fits that
placed
look.
Into its own version, noirish version of
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It's just plug and play. Go. Get Bruce Timm on the phone right now. Let's go. That style of animation, that it's a hard to place time period, but it feels old. But the technological advancements are, it's just something that could be weighted.
And isn't
grounded? That's the word I'm looking for.
Isn't that the same feeling that Martin was talking about in like our second show, was going back and doing that noirish kind of, period piece, the shadow kind of thing.
Yes.
And I like that, but there's this part of me. There's this part of me that feels like that should be addressed, and then you do a time shift in it. So then all of a sudden it becomes modern day. I'm currently reading Lone Ranger. I figured I could get your attention with that one. The Lone Ranger and the Green Hornet. And it's a totally different crossover in how Britt Reed comes to the Hornet.
Oh, okay.
Have you not read that one?
No.
Lone Ranger is an old guy now.
Okay.
That everybody knows was the Ranger.
Was the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll make sure that we get a copy to you.
Yes, I want to read this very much.
By all means. All this, though, is leading us to the topic for our show. Oh, I'm sorry. We're out of time. We have to go.
It's twice you've done this now.
I have been known all my life as the story for another time kind of guy.
This is actually a podcast I was trying to get you to do. It was the stories for another time.
But I don't know if I'd ever actually finish those stories, because I'd always be like, well, Kory, here's this. Well, let's finish it next week, okay? So
and that is why I'm bald. Just pulling my hair out.
I don't think that's the reason, but if you want to say that, that's fine.
I'm blaming you.
Yeah, okay, blame me all you want. All right, little buzz for you, buddy. There is on YouTube, and again, I keep mentioning and giving product placement here, there is a film version on YouTube. It's just shy of 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 57 seconds. And it is actually known as the Green Hornet, only it's I can't remember the French name.
It's Green Hornet in French.
It's Green Hornet, in French. And I just, all of a sudden, my mind went totally blank. But it's the something vert.
For green.
For green, yeah, it's Hornet. And so it was done back in 2006. It's a short film. And you've ran across it.
Yep. And it is... This might be a controversial statement. I think it's on par with most of the 66 episodes, in my opinion. I think it is a stellar version. It could use with more exposition, but you really get to the heart of the matter real quick, and it's amazing. It's so well done.
It really is. The fight scenes, and most of it's fight scenes.
Yeah, predominantly.
Yeah. And it's the frelon.
Oh, there we go.
Le frelon vert. And the fight scenes are so well done. The two actors that are playing Britt and Kato, the Hornet and Kato, are doing a stellar job.
It's I'm trying to think of the guy's name that played Kato. Patrick Vaux?
Patrick Vaux.
Yeah. So right at the very beginning of the film is they bring up this really cool elongated green G and H that gives off the vibe of a skyscraper, which features into the film. It's like a nice little precursor into what's going on. But they pull up in the beauty. There's basically a guy and his goons standing there smoking, having a conversation.
Right.
They pull up, and the door is open, and you see the Hornet step out.
Yep.
This really cool focus shot on him, and then the camera pulls back, and you got Kato across the car. And the very first frame that Kato's in, I don't know what it is, but with the mask, he looks a lot like Rob Lowe now. It's watch it and tell me I'm wrong.
I'll have to go back and watch. I just watched it yesterday to get ready for this again. And then it goes from there.
Yeah.
And, it's not a difficult plot. I'm in the process. I probably shouldn't throw this out there, but I'm in the process with my film company that we're in the process of developing a new short that is Hornet-esque. And,
Your tribute.
Yeah, it's kind of my tribute too. But when you look at this one, you go, well, there's a fight scene. Oh, wait, there's another fight scene, which leads to yet another fight scene. And then you get some talking, and then you get a little bit more talking. And then it's like you get another fight scene. And
then it's over.
And then it's over. And that's not bad because it's so well done.
Yes, it's super well done. And it actually did... It fixes a bridge that I've always had the slightest issue with.
Okay.
And that is the Green Hornet's a scrapper. He can take care of himself.
Yeah.
But the way they did this is it felt like he had trained with Kato. And that's not something that gets broached very often. But of course he does. Of course he would. Yeah, of course he would. So he's going to know all the martial arts that Kato would have taught him. So they're going to be on par with each other. Now, again, we go back to Bruce and the whole thing is he just overshadowed Van in those fight scenes.
He did.
So much that you kind of lose that vision of it.
That Britt is an accomplished martial artist.
Bad mamma jamma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He's a bad scrapper.
Yeah, and this, like, their fighting styles were the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, now that could just be choreography and they had one guy doing the fight scenes. Whatever that happens to be, whether it was intended or not, it kind of fixed that for me. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about it.
There is one spot, and I do appreciate this. There is one spot where the bad guy is getting the better of Britt, and Kato, after dispatching his bad guy, basically goes over and does a kick. Gets the guy off of him, gives the Hornet time to get back up,
and Britt comes up, but he comes up in a boxer stance.
Yes.
As opposed to the martial arts stance that he'd been using. So it shows that he's versatile and he knows what else, he's not coming at this from one angle. And that, it embraces what the Hornet is to me so much more.
Now, if you're listening to us, we're talking about Le Frelon Vert, which is the Green Hornet. It's a French short, about a 10-minute short, that is on YouTube. So if you just kind of came in late and you weren't paying attention, you can find it. The problem, my issue, is not with the film. It is with the fact that it's about a 100th generation film. The quality is crap.
It is not high def in any way, shape, or form. It kind of looks like it's in the process of buffering through the majority of it.
Yeah, it really does.
But it triumphs in spite of all of that.
Yeah. I would agree.
And so it's funny because my wife, who is a whole human being in her own right, came in and was like,
what did you do with the other half of the one that
So she comes in I was about maybe 2 minutes into it. And she was like, oh, you're prepping for the show? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, sits down and she's watching it. And she was like, what's going on here? And I was like, well, it's a fan film.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh. Well, she ends up talking to me about some stuff. And I kind of lost what was going on. I had to start it over because it's been a minute since I watched it. So I started it over. And then my son comes down. And he starts jabbering through. And I'm like, all right, third time. So I started over. And she comes back down and she sits down and she watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, that was actually, like, other than the syncing. And I was like, the syncing? And she goes, yeah, the audio track seemed off. And I was like, no, it's a French film. And she goes, oh. She was like,
it was dubbed, yes.
And she goes, well, then it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we go any further, it is dubbed.
Yeah.
So you can hear the whole thing in English.
Yeah.
And you don't have to read, subtitles.
Subtitles in that generation would have been you couldn't have read anything.
No, you couldn't. The film was written and directed, and I will butcher this, and I apologize. I have actually reached out to him a couple times to see if we could get him to, get on a Zoom call with us. Aurélien Poitrimoult. I don't know if that's correct, but it's my French. I didn't.
Close enough for government work.
But he also credits Stryker, as a co-writer, well, obviously. But he's the one that envisioned this. He wrote it, he directed it, and it is one heck. I was almost going to say hell.
Almost.
Yeah, I can never know. It's a family show.
You're always worried about me.
Yeah, but I know the words that. Never mind. Here.
Here we go.
That's for me. The show, you can tell this guy has had a love of the Hornet.
It is 100% a labor of love. You're absolutely right. You can see it all over it. The plot even is such a crux of the character, just distilled down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's literally the Hornet is taking the rap for this other guy's crime.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to clear his name is to bring that guy to justice. That's the whole plot. The whole plot.
Yeah.
It's also the whole character.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
That is what it is. And it's so nice to see it at its base without, and I know I keep bringing him up, but without the Roganisms.
Yeah.
That have tainted the water so much, because it's just, I don't know. And this film came out 5 years before that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been done so well.
This came out in 2006.
Yeah.
So.
Which is nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
When you start thinking about it, yeah. Again, I did reach out to the director a couple of times, and I have no idea whether, he's even alive at this point. He was a younger guy when this came out in 6. I wanted to ask a lot of questions about those. I also wanted to see if there is a first or second generation copy that you could actually see.
Yeah.
It is hard to watch, but once you get it takes me about 2 minutes of trying to watch around those syncing, buffering feeling that you get to get used to it enough to be able to go, oh, I can deal with this. And then I loved it.
So what I recommend is watching it on a smaller screen.
Oh, sure.
If you watch it on, say, your laptop or your phone, it's not nearly as rough
to
look at.
If you watch it on a 60-inch screen, you're going to go, this is crap.
Yeah. But if you watch it on one of those smaller screens, I'm telling you, if you're a fan and you haven't seen it, you're going to like it.
Yeah.
You're going to love it. And then the very end, the credit cards are so cool. They're so well done.
It's almost more fun to watch the credits because they're, yeah.
Well, the thing is like it feels like you've gotten the intro of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, we've got this mini plot. Here it goes. Fight scene, plot resolution, opening credits of a film.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it plays. It just leaves you wanting so much more.
And you expect then the rest of the film to unfold,
yeah,
for the next hour and a half.
Yeah, or even if you went back and like, oh, here's how he became, like whatever, however you wanted to go about it. I think the world is over origin stories, but like, it does feel like the inception of something that has so much more behind it. And that's the question I want to know, is like, how do we get more out of you? Go make more.
This was the film. This was the film that we should have had in 2011.
Yes.
So again, go get if you haven't seen it, by all means, get out on YouTube and look up Le Frelon, LEFRELON VERT.
Yes.
Vert. And it's those three separate words. Le Frelon Vert.
And this has been French with Fish Martin.
Thank you very much. Oh, bonjour. Bonjour, mon ami. And I'm bumping into the microphone here. Watch my.
This whole booth just got filled with cigarette smoke.
Would you like to have the crabs?
He just turned into Pepe Le Pew. But okay, seriously, I can't heap praise upon this enough. And I know we've brought it up a few times before, but it's seriously, take 10 minutes, take half an hour, watch it 3 times.
Exactly.
I promise, it's amazing.
It really and truly is. And again, kudos to these guys for pulling this off. It's just absolutely awesome. So.
And that really was the whole impetus behind this episode, was we really wanted to put a spotlight on this thing that doesn't get enough recognition.
It's a fan film.
Yeah.
And fan films, I know, because we just had the production company that I work with. We're a bunch of old retired guys that are doing these films just for the fun of it. We make absolutely no money off of it. We like it because we get to work with the people we want to work with here locally. We get to find new talent. We get to teach people, about sound and lighting and all these fun things. And we know what it's like to have a film that people appreciate. We've had several.
Are you leading into your escalator story? Because I want you to tell the escalator story.
You want me to tell the escalator story?
I do. Please tell the escalator. Because that's not for another time. It's for right now.
It's for right now. You're going to, ouch, don't let go of my arm.
Nope.
Would you? All right. So I walk into San Diego Comic-Con. Did I not tell this? What?
No, because you had a film at San Diego. I thought that was the transition.
Didn't we talk about this last week?
I'm sure we did. Do it again.
Okay, do it again. We had a film that we actually did quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a number of years ago. 3 years ago, I think.
At least, yeah.
Almost 4 years ago. And one of the 3 guys that I'm with, or the other 2 guys, always said, he says, this is my bucket item. I would like to have one of our films shown at San Diego Comic-Con. And we had this comic film. It's called Gamma Man. Gamma Man. And it's about a kid that creates this character, and he has this love interest that doesn't know he's alive. And he gets the opportunity to save her. And then there's the twist. So we sent it off. And we got in.
That's so cool.
And I seem to recall the number of like 1,500 film submissions that they have to go through. And we were one of 1,500. No, it was 57 films that were being shown. The number, they wouldn't talk about the number of films.
Right.
The submissions. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know, because we do a local film festival here, and we get hundreds
of submissions.
Submissions for a little teeny tiny. This is San Diego Comic-Con. So we're there. They gave us tickets because we get to go on stage and talk about our film. We didn't win anything, but that doesn't matter. We had a film at San Diego Comic-Con.
Right. That's something to hang your hat on, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Your green fedora, hang it right on there.
Right on there. So we had kind of like not quite a whole week of time to spend down there. First day, we had a phenomenal meeting with an absolutely lovely young lady. Did we talk about this last time?
We may have.
I don't remember.
I think we might have been referencing, but not.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. That I had the opportunity of having dinner with the granddaughter of George Trendle over dinner, and we had just an absolutely lovely conversation. She loves what we're doing, and we'll go from there.
Yes.
So the next day, I had planned to...
Also, if she's listening, thanks for the shirt.
Yeah, by the way, great shirts.
Great shirts.
Great shirts. The next day I had planned, because my buddy John, who does Batman, was also going to be down there. And we would always like to have Batman, Green Hornet. People love those two characters together. So I was going to do cosplay on Friday. And then the next day is the film thing. Wanted to go around, meet some people, reacquaint myself with some old friends. So Friday, I walk in my Hornet.
Yeah.
And I have my Sting, which my friend Green Hornet Randy has made for me.
Right.
It's awesome piece of stuff. And I go to first off, I go to have the people at the con check it to make sure it's not an actual firing weapon or anything,
right.
that it's safe.
If you've ever been to a con, that's standard operating procedure.
Yeah, exactly. They call it piecing, or they have to piece that piece. Piece that piece? Okay.
Hashtag
so the guy gives me this awesome comment. He says, I don't think I've ever seen a Green Hornet before. And I know a friend of mine has been down there for it. And he says, and you're absolutely awesome. And I'm like,
it's awesome.
I'm good. We go upstairs. You have to go upstairs to get your badges. Get our badges. And with my friends from the film, who one of them had neither one of them had been there before. So they're both kind of looking and lollygagging.
Yeah, doing the thing.
And we're coming back down the escalator. And if you've been at the convention center in San Diego, it's a long, long way. He's the Green Hornet. Oh, no. So we're about halfway down, and from up in the rafters, I hear, Green Hornet! And I apologize if I just busted anybody's eardrums. But I turn into some guy standing at the very top of the thing going, yeah! I think, that is the coolest thing.
Heck yeah. And it's alive, man. It's out there. The
whole weekend, that whole day, because I only did the cosplay for one day. And usually I get a bunch of people going, oh, it's Batman and the Riddler.
Yeah.
Don't know why. They don't know their comics.
Also, they don't know the show. That doesn't look anything like.
No. And I have these cards made, and we've talked about this before. I have these cards made that I hand people, and it says, you've been stung. And you flip it over, and it's the history of the Green Hornet on the backside.
Yeah.
And, I only gave 2 of them out this time because everybody knew.
That's saying something.
It really is.
It means we had a concern about it fading out of the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
That gives me a little spark.
Little hope.
The campfire's still burning.
I also, there's one more thing I want to bring up before we get done with the show for this time around. And one of those things is I have a question to ask. Actually, I have 2 questions. It's a 2-parter. It's 1 question, 2 parts. I don't care. And that is, oh, stop it.
No.
No. That is, and you can help me rephrase this because I know I'm going to butcher the way what is wrong with the Hornet? And I'm not talking about the Hornet character. I love the character. Don't get me wrong. But I want to know what you feel like is wrong with the IP, the intellectual property of the Hornet. Some people have said, because there's no DVDs, that's a wrong thing. But I'm talking about overall, it can be part of, what don't you like about the characters, that kind of thing. And on the obverse side of that coin, then, is what brought you to the Hornet? What do you like about the Hornet?
So the nutshell is we're looking for your opinions.
Exactly.
You, the listener, we want to know what you think needs to change and what makes you love it inherently. Now, a lot of people fear change in any way, shape, or form. But what do you think it's going to take to keep that campfire going that we were just talking about?
How do we keep that spark lit?
Right. So what do you think? What do you think is being done wrong? What do you think is being done right? What do you love? What do you hate? It's a big ball of wax question, but truly, we want to hear from you. A podcast at greenhornet66.com. Please reach out. We want to go over this with people, and we want to know what you guys think.
And quite honestly, I think what ultimately will happen with a lot of this is we're going to share it with some people. Yeah. And we'll share it with all of you when we finally get all the tabulations done. I feel like it's an election year. We should do we should have a little tabulation kind of thing going on, don't you?
As long as we get that little ticker noise, like that.
It's the Green Hornet.
See,
there you go.
That's the thing that's the problem I have with this question, is because I think some of the cheesiness has to go away, but the cheesiness is part of what I love about it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not always part of it, but it is part of it sometimes. You hear me?
What do you like about it? What do you think is wrong with the whole intellectual property, or the Hornet, or Cato, or anything? Just tell me what you love, what you hate about the whole thing. Podcast at greenhornet66.com. I had a note from I won't even say the social media platform. You can figure it out from there. I had a note from, she has been a fan of ours for a long time, and she knew we were doing this show, and she reaches out every once in a while. And I asked her this question, and she came back and gave us some really good stuff.
Amazingly articulated, solid points, to the point that I think we ought to talk to her.
It's not. I actually thought about that
for the answers to this question episode.
Yeah, as we were driving in, I thought to myself, maybe if she's up to doing a Zoom call or something with us, we should get her on the show to be able to talk about those things. But what really got me was when she came back and she made an offside reference about being a young Hornet fan. Mm-hmm. And I said, Mom always taught me not to ask how old a woman was, but can you give me a ballparky, where are you at? And she says 20 to the 30s. And I went, perfect. Yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Yes.
Because I want those people to, you're not as old as I am, but I'm not as old as a lot of our Green Hornet listeners.
Right.
Our podcast listeners. And
we're right. That's kind of the wonderful thing, is there is a spectrum of people, but the fear is that spectrum is tapering off, and it's not going to reach, say, my kids' generation.
And that's the huge, huge fear. I had the same conversation with one of the principals in the Green Hornet forum. We talked briefly about that last time. And, asking that same question. He's a young guy, too. I mean, he's in his mid-20s and late 20s. And loves the Hornet, has always loved the Hornet. Why?
Yeah.
What draws you to the Hornet? So, everybody, I don't care if you're young or old at this point. I just want to know. We want to know why you love it, why you hate it, all those bits and pieces.
Yeah. Take the time, if you would do us that solid. Take the time, give us your input. We really would like to know.
I would really, really, really like to know. And by all means, hop out on YouTube and do some digging around and see if you can find some of these things. And especially we call it the French film. The French film.
The French film.
See if you can find the French film. And
we got to throw this out there. My last name is Gaston.
Gaston.
It is not Gaston.
Gaston.
I'm not French.
I bet it is in France, eh?
Well, that's a long story.
Yeah. So, let me ask you, have you been watching the Olympics? Never mind.
That's a whole... Woo, buddy.
Yeah. You want to do this?
This?
Quick shout out?
Yes. Real quick, we're talking about getting this gentleman on. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't...
No, in fact, he texted me a couple days ago and said, so, when am I on?
Excellent. 2 novels by Jim Beard.
Yep.
The Green Hornet, How Sweet the Sting.
That's the older one that he's had for a long time.
And then there's a Moonstone double shot featuring the Green Hornet and the Phantom Detective. But Greg just handed me copies of these right before we started recording. I'm looking so forward to digging into these. Go to Moonstone.
Yeah.
And try and get your hands on the copy. The artwork on the front is just incredible.
Yeah,
both of them.
You're really jonesing on that.
I'm a comic guy.
Yeah, I
so,
know.
I mean,
you are.
like they're so cool. It's. I'm really looking forward to digging into them. They're not super long reads. It doesn't look like. But if you need some new Hornet in your life after you watch the French film, hop online. You're going to be online anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go over to Moonstone, which has a bunch of other cool pulp stuff too.
Yeah, Moonstone is, in fact, we'll want to get those folks on the show.
Absolutely.
123 pages here is the bigger one that was done in 21 that Jim did called How Sweet the Sting.
Yeah.
And then the brand new one that just came out is the double shot. It's actually two separate short stories in here. The Green Hornet. And is there a title on this? What'd you call this, Jim? Daily Nightly by Jim Beard. And then the second story is the one with the Phantom Detective. That's Streets of Blood. And it just came out. So.
Yeah, and Jim was nice enough to send a copy. But I'm very excited to read it.
All right. Go check out Moonstone. And by all means, podcast at greenhornet66.com. Check out YouTube.
Do you have any photos from San Diego you're going to put up on the website?
I need to figure out how to do that. I'll probably put them over on my cosplay side. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'll share some pics that you can. In fact, I'll make sure that they say Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con.
Put some up in the Case Files Facebook?
Maybe.
Just throwing it out there. Possibly.
If my tech guy, can handle that.
He's a busy man.
Yes, I am. All right. Le Frelon Vert. Be sure and check that out. And is there anything else I'm forgetting here?
No, I don't think so. I think, for an episode that I feel like we kind of crammed it with a lot of info on this one.
It's the Green Hornet.
just play that as the outro.
Just one more
Green
time.
Hornet theme, the Lost Lyrics.
He's the Green Hornet, alias publisher Britt Reed. He fights crime with cool gadgets. Watch out for his hornet sting. His butler's named Kato. He's also his chauffeur. He drives the Black Beauty. Watch him make that motor sing.
FX is not responsible for the opinions of the Lost Lyrics. Form your own opinion. Watch the Green Hornet Saturdays at 5:30, 4:30 Central.
He's also his chauffeur. Oh, I love it.
And with that, thank you for spending some time with us today. It's been kind of wacky and wonderful.
And a good episode. I'm happy with it.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Let's roll.
As the night envelops the city once more, our journey through the hidden alleys of history and valor comes to a close. You've been riding shotgun with the Green Hornet Case Files, where the echoes of the past meet the voices of the present. Tune in again for the next thrilling adventure, where shadows speak, secrets unfold, and the legacy of the Green Hornet continues to inspire. The Green Hornet Case Files is a Grail Productions podcast. The Green Hornet is owned exclusively by Green Hornet, Inc. Until next time, vigilant listeners, keep your wits sharp and your spirit unbreakable.